If you plan on traveling anytime soon, you definitely need a passport. So in this video, I'll be talking about how I was able to get my passport in a day, and I'll be suggesting to you an easier way you can get your passport. This video might seem easy, but then I know that information is power, and I'll be suggesting an easier way for you to get your passport. You can use this method if you find it useful. So when I was planning my whole travel vlog before I came here, I needed to get my passport, and because of how urgent it was, I needed to get my passport before I start the whole application of going to the immigration, and even like for the admission and everything, I needed my passport. So luckily for me, I was able to get my passport within a day. And when I told my brother that I got my passport like immediately, he was like, wow, like how are you able to get your passport within a day? But then the thing is that I got my passport in Makurdi, Benue State, and then when I got to like the immigration in Benue State, the population there was not so much. And then it occurred to me that there are so many people that would be like in Lagos or Abuja, and they would want to get their passports, and they are looking for like an easier way to get their passport. So the thing you can do, or something I'm suggesting, is if you stay in, like, let me say you stay in Abuja and you're finding it difficult to get your passport, because the number of people that would want to get their passport in Abuja would definitely be more than the number of people that would want to get their passport in like Kogi or in Benue, because the number of people in Abuja is definitely more than the number of people in Benue. So what you can do is you can choose to travel from Abuja to Makurdi, or you can choose to travel from Makurdi to Kogi or so, and then you can like get your passport within a day and you can travel back. So if you stay in Abuja, you know that like from Abuja to Makurdi, it's not so far. Like it can take you about like 4 hours or 3 hours to get to Makurdi, and then you can get your passport that same day and you can come back to Abuja with your passport. But the thing is that you would have to pay for express. But then if you are not in a hurry to get your passport, you can like apply and then travel back, and then when your passport is ready, they would call you to come and pick up your passport. Why I'm making this video is because this is like almost the end of the year. This is December, and I know that so many people would want to like travel next year, or maybe it is one of your to-do lists. You would want to travel like next year or so, and then you are in need of passport. So like what I would advise you is to get your passport on time. If you have this on your to-do list, you plan to travel anytime soon, like get your passport on time. Like don't be like me that waited till the dying minute and I had to like pay for express to get my passport. So like get your passport at hand, so that anytime the opportunity comes, or anytime like there is need for it, you have your passport and you just present your passport. But then also, if you don't have your passport, or maybe if you need it urgently, or if you don't want to like stress yourself so much, you can use this method I'm talking about in this video. So the thing is, like, it might seem very simple, right? But then the whole gist is that if you stay in Lagos, right, or you know that the population of people in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja is higher than the number of people in like other states, maybe let's say Benue State, let's say Kogi, let's say Nasarawa or so. And then because of the population in Lagos or Abuja or Port Harcourt, you would know that the number of people that would be traveling would be higher than the number of people traveling in Makurdi. Like that's the mathematics. Like the number of people in those states is higher than the number of people in those other states. So the probability of more people traveling from Lagos or Abuja outside is higher than the probability of people traveling out of the country from Makurdi or Kogi State. So like that's the thing. So now if you want to get your passport and you don't want much stress, you don't want like so many crowd, because when I went to get my passport, like there were like few people there. I think we're not even up to 5, and then when I stayed for like I think like for a few minutes, they called me. I went in, I did the whole thumbprinting and everything, I did the whole registration, and then before like 2 hours they called me that my passport was ready. And when I told my brother, he's like, wow, like that was so fast, like that was so fast. So it just occurred to me that many people, or some persons, might want to get their passports, and they might be looking for an easier way to get their passport. And then I also remember that a friend of mine, she had to travel to Abuja to get her passport, and it took her like, she's had to stay for like few days. And I'm like, if same person like from Enugu traveled to Makurdi, she can just stay for 2 days and she would like do the whole application, and when her passport is ready, she would be contacted that her passport is ready, and she can always come back and get her passport. The thing is that most persons, or most people, think that you can only get your passport in Abuja or Lagos or Port Harcourt, but you can get your passport anywhere. And the same passport I got in Makurdi is the same passport I used to travel out. so you can get your passport anywhere. So back to the story. So now if you reside in any of those states, all you can do is to like look for someone that stay in, let me say if you're in Abuja, right, you can look for someone that stay in Kogi or Makurdi and like ask them if there's an immigration center around, and ask them if there are more people or there are so much persons, if there are so much persons that go to the immigration to apply. And if there are not much persons and if the state is safe, you also have to like check how safe it is to travel to that state. Then you can like do your planning, you can like travel to the state, to that particular state, and get your passport. And then by the way, if you're in Abuja, you can always travel to Benue State. Like me, I did my own in Benue State and it was like very fast. There were not much persons in the immigration or getting their passports, so I did my own very fast. So if you're in Abuja, you can travel from Abuja to Benue State and then you can travel back that same day. But then if you don't want to travel back that same day, you can just look for an affordable hotel around and you can sleep in the hotel, and then the next day you can travel back. And then also if you're in Lagos or if you're in Port Harcourt, you can like do your research, ask people around or people that stay in another state if there are much persons that are, or if there are more people that go to immigration. Ask how you can like travel there, and then just like do your research like and ask around and also ask about the safety of the state. If the state is safe enough for you, you can travel to that state, and you can always do the whole application and then do the whole registration. And once you're set and once you're done, when you're done, you can now travel back to your state. The whole idea is if you want to get your passport, right, you can go do the same thing in another state that has less population, because when you go to that state, there are lesser number of people that go to get their passport. So the stress of you getting your passport in those states will be less than if you're getting your passport in a state that has more population. If you're planning on traveling out anytime soon, you can feel free to like contact me, and I would see if I would ask the guy, I would ask someone there if he can like assist you, or if you can just like ask him questions, because he works with immigration. You can like ask him questions, and then if it is okay by you, you can travel there. And then it's not just Makurdi, you can ask around, or you can check around, or other states with less population around you, you can ask around. And then if you're traveling, make sure you are safe and just like do your whole research. Ask people around before you travel. Make sure you ask people around before you travel. Like don't travel blindly so that you like spend money and then you waste your time. So if you plan to like school in China, or if you plan to apply for schools in China, scholarships or any other stuff, feel free to send me a DM and I would send you the link of the person that helps me with my whole application process. And then maybe you might be lucky and you would be here next year or next 2 years or next 3 years or anytime. So feel free to send me a DM. So I hope you found this video helpful. Always remember that God loves you and it is his will you live an excellent life. Do have an amazing day.